Good morning, HPQ. How are you? Let's get you unmuted.
You
There you go. How are
can you
you?
hear me
Good
good?
morning. Yes. All well and good.
Let me turn up my volume. Yes, I've been listening this morning. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mixed Clouders. I hope everyone is all good. It's Monday. Do you know what? I woke up in a state. I was confused yesterday and today. Completely confused.
Why is that?
Well, I was downstairs yesterday doing some bits and pieces. I've started a new crafting
Mm-hmm.
experiment. So I'm there just doing that away, watching something on TV, which I'll talk about in a second, doing my film review. And I suddenly go into the kitchen and I thought, let me just make a cup of tea. And I'm thinking, it's not 1:45. It can't be 1:45. It's not
The
1:45 in the morning.
clock went back.
So I went back inside, looked at my phone. I thought, oh, it's 12:15. I still got 45 minutes before I should jump to my bed. This is fine. Go to my bed now. Wake up in the morning. I've set my alarm. I've woken up. And I tapped the alarm for 10 minutes snooze, and I woke up just before the snooze. Looked at my clock in my bedroom, and it said 8 o'clock, and I'm like, I'm late. And then realised when I looked at my phone, I thought the clocks have gone back. I didn't even see. Normally I've got all details of it. I didn't even see. I didn't watch much normal TV this weekend, so that's why I don't really watch TV. I kind of watch Netflix, Amazon Prime or YouTube. So yeah, I just didn't realise. I know it was the end of the month, and of course this is the last weekend in October. So the clocks went back. So those of
Yeah.
you that went out, you would have got an extra hour. Lucky you. I should have taken advantage of that. I clearly didn't.
You know what? It's really funny you should say that because I went through the day yesterday, and I didn't go out on Saturday night. Obviously, we were supposed to go out, but I was supposed to be doing something in London that got cancelled, and you were supposed to go out that where you didn't end up going now. And I was up all day, and to be honest with you, I didn't even realise that the clock had gone back. I didn't even notice the difference. But what I noticed that on Sunday morning, I woke up. It was like 10 o'clock, and I was a bit confused with the time as to whether. Not realising that it was actually 11 o'clock, and I thought, oh, it was only through the day. I'm like thinking to myself, did the clocks go back? Because I didn't notice. But I'll tell you what, the extra hour was welcomed.
I tell you what, I'm so upset now because when I looked at my clock in my bedroom on the Sunday, it said I think I woke up, it was about 7, and then I rolled back to sleep again. And when I woke up again, it was 12. Sugar, it's 12 o'clock. It wasn't, it was 11. I could have stayed another hour in bed or so, But no, it was good.
Was it actually sugar you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Did I say sugar?
No,
I didn't, did I?
On here you said sugar, but I'm saying when you woke up, was it the
Oh.
word sugar that you said?
I'm glad I said sugar, Normally
Yeah.
what comes out. But yeah, we were fooled. I was fooled over the weekend. Totally forgot. But as SharkyDJ has quite rightly been saying all this morning, you'll notice that we've got a new backdrop today. Now, these should have been done last week, but of course that was just on the backdrop of the benefit weekend. I could not get myself together in time for the Monday. So we are carrying on this, because it's Black History Month, we are carrying on this drive until the end of October, which is officially on Thursday. But this is our Tuesday will be the last day of us doing the breakfast show in October for Black History Month, and of course for another 2 weeks. So for those that have still got some spare change in their pockets lying around, as you can see, we've gotten up to 2,530. We still want to reach that 3,000 mark. So for those of you that still feel like giving, I've still got to make my donation in this. I'm making my donation last. I'm seeing what everyone's putting in, and then I'm going to hopefully try and round it up maybe to that
Yeah,
mark.
between us, we will round it up to the £3,000 mark, whichever way it goes.
Well,
So,
I'm hoping with some donations as well.
some donations as well. So you guys donate as much as you can, and whatever needs to make up myself, HPQ, we will top it up to the 3,000 mark, whichever way. So we're going to hit that mark regardless.
Yeah, we want to hit it. Like I said, it's 3 good causes, 3 charities we were supporting, and then when I come back, I can divvy up exactly what's been collected.
And
hopefully.
Yeah, I was going to say, and we've been donating anyway, haven't we?
We have, all in between. Oh gosh, yeah, I've been rounding up and doing all sorts in my accounts.
Sorry, go on.
That's fine. So by the time I come back, hopefully by then Mixcloud would have paid out, PayPal would have paid out, and then I can start on course of transferring the money to these charities. And fingers crossed, we would have collected the amounts that we were hoping to collect right here, as I've got as my little indicator at £3,000. That's the magic marker. So it's not too late, people, to dig deep. I know some of you are on holidays now. It's coming up to half term. And you've got to take your little ones on holiday, or your grandchildren on holiday, or your dear selves on holiday. And I know you've got a little extra £10 in your pocket. Everyone's got a little extra £10.
Yeah, but the holiday tax that's coming up, it's going up. The government are putting it up. People need to go on holiday. They need to take their kids on holiday, and they're putting the tax up. I'm not even blaming this government. I think any government would be doing the same thing, whether it's Labour, whether it's Conservative, whether it's coalition between failed Lib Dems, which would never happen again in our lifetime. Things are going to go up. There is no government that has come in and said we're going to take the price down. Yeah. Right, this doesn't happen. So and they've told us already that there are bad times ahead. The last Conservative government, coupled with COVID, actually tore our purse strings apart. There's not much money we've got left to give, and yet people still have got it. We're still surviving in this cruel, harsh world. Sometimes I don't know how we're doing it. They're raiding anybody that has been too long on benefits. They're raiding if you have a house. They're raiding if you fly. They're raiding if you have a car on the road. They're raiding you. They're forcing you back to work to go pay them obscene amounts of money on London transport and going to work stressed nearly every day. They are just... And we wonder why we got a mental health problem. We wonder why our country's in crisis and why everyone's got mental health issues. I believe we are all on the cusp. I've watched Married at First Sight. We've got issues, people. We've got issues. And after this, I'll come back and I'll talk about my programme and my film reviews. Oh my gosh, what have I been watching? Married at First Sight. I missed the whole of September. I'm going to tell you about it now. Oh my gosh. I'll tell you what, I'll have to download it and on the plane watch that, because there's so much
You have to watch it.
There's so much stuff that I've actually missed out on some of these movies. You know what? My time has been taken up by you know what. And I'll tell you what.
That's right. Everybody keep donating. I'm loving that. We're still keeping this going. But of course, at the end of this week, we would have stopped our charity benefit drive officially, but unofficially you can still give to HPQ Giving. That's going to be I'm going to actually try and set it up as a charity for giving as well, and that's going to be my next step when I come back. But just trying to do good for the community and also for worthwhile causes. Now, I forgot to say my good mornings to my Mixclouders, lovely Mixclouders that tune in faithfully every week. Kimmy Kim, good morning. Marie P. Dimples, First Lady, good morning. And Melly Mel, good morning. DJ Annette 200, good morning. Pauline Redlocks, good morning to you, my lovely Laurie. SharkyDJ, G-Force, and anybody else that's tuned in this morning. Good morning.
And good morning, First Lady, who's just joined us.
Yes, I saw that. I said good morning, First Lady.
No, I'm saying good morning. I'm saying good morning.
Okay, I didn't want to be
We're celebrating Black History Month. We're all in black, yeah. Black on black, right. Normally we're blending right in on the Black History Month. And I've got my T-shirt on. I don't know if you can see it because I'm not... There you go, Black Fathers Matters T-shirt.
There we go. And funnily enough, I'd like to hear about what everyone's workplaces did for Black History Month this year. For 2 years running, I've had such a poor dealings with workplaces that it's heart-wrenching. That I'm vowing never to let that happen again. My last workplace, I think they put a few old recycled posters up of famous black people, athletes, politicians, the usual. This year, well, our group company, okay, the company I work for, they have a group and they have a local. I work for the local branch. The group put on all sorts. They had talks, they had speeches, they had all sorts. But our local branch did absolutely nothing. Now, they tagged on to a lunch payday because we work with consumer financial services. So we've got a whole customer service group in the back of our building, and they're always celebrating something. And so they do payday lunches. So they had a Jamaican payday lunch, and they teamed it up with Black History Month. The lady that was organising it was playing Bob Marley on her laptop. I just thought, oh God, this could get any worse. Playing Bob Marley on her laptop and ordered the food. Traditional black people style, the food turns up late. The food turns up late, so they get these lovely boxes of jerk chicken and rice. Actually, the food was very nice, so they bought the first load up. No cutlery. So everyone's sitting there waiting to eat this food. No cutlery. The cutlery's come in along with the second batch of vegetarian food.
You know, if I was there, I would be like, you know what?
They did. Everybody did. Everyone started eating the chicken with their hands, and then they tore bits of the boxes to try and replicate a spoon. Now, I was supposed to give a speech there about what Black history means to me. Well, by the time the food came, everyone was waiting for so long for the food, everybody just went back downstairs, and I just sat there looking at this lady getting very stressed at what she had organised, and I'm thinking, why don't you just get somebody else to... a black person to organise this and get it done properly.
Like, you know what? But
I was so angry.
Like, you know what? They tried.
They did. They tried. They did try.
Just give it up that they just tried. You know what I mean? It's this. You got to start somewhere, innit?
Yeah, we took a picture in front of our multicultural network with our food in our hands, and that was our representation for Black History Month. Yeah, I feel really proud.
That's like cornbread.
It's just like, is this the best that we can do? Was standing in front of a multicultural network with a box of jerk chicken in our hands to celebrate Black History Month. What kind of message is that sending, really?
Next year you can sort something out and say, you know what, I want to do it proper this year.
Yeah.
And I want half a day dedicated to Black History Month. So I want you to give them half a day off in your company so that we can have an afternoon and everyone can attend a proper meeting first, and you can talk about it and get people in to talk about it or whatever it is in the company and what they think it, and then serve the food and then let them go home.
Yeah. Well, that's the way it should have been done.
We can do it the next time, isn't it?
Unfortunately, it wasn't done that way. But anyway, I want to start talking about Married at First Sight. So Married at First Sight is a TV experimental program in which they match couples up on paper. On paper, these couples are a suitable match. Now, it's as to whether their matching on paper is matching real life. And this is series 9 now. And Married at First Sight Australia is probably one of the more famous, more better programs. I've never watched it. I do like the UK ones. The UK ones are absolutely nuts. Well, we've got a whole bundle of whatnots in Married at First Sight. I have been binge watching it since Saturday morning. I'm telling you, it is a killer. And sometimes I believe, you know what, I kind of believe that, I almost feel like every woman that goes on there is damaged because they start crying. The last relationship I had was about 5 years ago and he broke my heart, and this whole tears would come out. I've never gotten over him, and it's going to take a very special man. I'm building up walls, and it's just like every woman has had a relationship that mashed them up sideways till they're entering into another relationship or potential marriage totally damaged and expecting this new husband that doesn't know them whatsoever to take on all their damage, all their heartache, all their craziness, and say, yeah, I love you. It's not going to happen.
Do they have therapists in this show? I can't remember.
They do. They have 3 expert marriage guidance counsellors. I think they are a mix of marriage guidance therapists, counsellors, psychotherapists. So what they do is they give them, obviously they've been talking to before the show, then they settle into married life, they get married, they go on their honeymoon. It's all chronicled from what happens on their honeymoon to when they come back, the first dinner together, and then they start having the ceremonies. And the ceremonies are when they're invited onto the couch as a couple to talk about maybe some of the issues they've had or not had, how things are going, what they can do well, better, so forth. Some of the fights, I mean, they started off well, and you think you're rooting for this couple, like, definite match, great. And day one kicks in, someone says something, and someone absolutely flips. Now, I can imagine, because you're being paired with someone you've never met before in your entire life. Your entire life, you've never met them, you don't know anything about them, you've married to them, and suddenly you're going to have to stick with them for the next couple of weeks or months. You can't get rid of them. And if you're a person that's used to your own space and you've got someone like 24/7 and you're this quiet person, it's going to drive you nuts. So it's all about dealing with that and how people compromise. It's not so much as people getting on each other's nerves. It's like, here we go. We've got two different characters here, two different communication styles, two different styles. And how do we get to figure it out? And there's a lot of headbutting. There's also a little bit of compromise. And there's also a lot of walking away and coming back and all sorts of things. Yeah, it's really interesting. And it's interesting to see the perspective of the people that are there. And a lot of people will identify with a lot of the married couples on there. You'd go in there and be like, that's exactly what he does, or that's exactly what she does. Oh my God, I'm going through the same problem. And sometimes it probably helps listen to some of these counsellors giving out really good advice. And First Lady says, I was coming up, First Lady, you know, even before I looked at the chat, and looked at that name, Rochelle, I was just about to talk about her. Now, why is it all the black women that come in are classified as mad women? We've had a couple in there. We really have. And Rochelle, oh, Kimmy Kim, First Lady, I don't know what's wrong with her. There's something wrong. That woman is definitely damaged. She is she trusts no man. And I've got to say, she has been paired up with a man called Orson. Orson is fine. Orson is one fine black man. He dresses immaculate for each show. He's got a different suit for every day. Every day he's got something different on, just smart. And it's not even just a normal suit. He's got these suits specially made. He just looks, he's great. And he's been matched up with Rochelle. She's 48, but looks very, very good. But she's got issues. I don't trust you. You're an actor, so you're probably acting. You're going to use me for fame. Well, use you for what? What have you got? Why has he got to use you? He could use any other woman in the house. So she's got issues. She walked out on him during the honeymoon because he was showing his soft side. He was saying, you know, I'm quite a soft person. You know, I broke up with this relationship 5 years ago. She's like, what's that got to do with me? I don't care. Grow up, move on, man up. She was just
throwing everything at him.
Rough, yeah. And I can't take any of this, and just walks away. Now, I understand her stance, and especially she was saying, I'm too old for this. She's 48, she's probably been around the mill with several boyfriends, seen the game, worn the t-shirt, and has had enough. And so here's this man come along, and she's not even given the time of day because she can't be asked. I can't be asked with rubbish. And I suppose when you're set up, and this is the danger with women that are set up and have established, when they're established and set up, they've got no time for nobody. But there's still that element of loneliness in there. You can still say she wants someone, but she's so not trustworthy. Someone has stamped on her heart and thrown it out the bus a couple times, for sure.
We will carry on that chat right after this.
Yes. So continuing on Married at First Sight, because it's so juicy. There's so much going on.
I gotta watch this.
You have to. The man from St. Kitts, I'm telling you. In fact, when the programme was on, his beard was shining like he had glitter in it. I'm like, what is going on? But let me talk about some of the other characters in there. Okay. Now, there's a young lady in there that's been paired up with, she's a white lady, and she's been paired up with a black man named Alex. Now, what happens in these shows is that they talk about the kind of characteristics and what they're looking for. And they give that to the producers in hope that they get what they wish for. And sometimes you know what people's desires are by the looks on their faces when it's presented to them. So this young lady's at the church and she spins around and sees her husband, which is this black guy, and her eyes light up. You can see the family going, oh, that's just her type. It's just her type. So I'm thinking, and she's got 2 kids. First of all, she's got 2 kids, and she said she was with her boyfriend from the age of 14, found out she was pregnant at 16. He left her at 20, and she was heartbroken. All classic signs, right? And so her eyes have lit up at the church, and from on the honeymoon, they're fighting. And what was so telling that made me realise that the father of her kids is black was just the tones that she was using. You can always tell, can't you? First of all, in the honeymoon, she did the white kiss my teeth. Right? And I say the white kiss my teeth because black people can kiss their teeth probably, you know, that kind of, yeah, the white. So she did that, and I'm like, oh, she's been around black people. And then they have something called the dinner party. And the dinner party is when they all get together and they start talking about their life, and there's always raucous. There's always a fight, arguments, so everyone waits for the dinner party. That's the best ones to watch, the dinner parties, right? So she's come there and she's obviously having a go at him. She's like, let me tell you, and I'm sitting there thinking, I know what she's trying to say. but she can't say it. She's trying to say, remember me tell you. So just little quirky bits that she throws in there, that you know that her heartbreaker was indeed a black man.
Oh dear.
But it's just crazy. Some of the characters are crazy. There's this girl in there, and she is so bubbly, she will just bounce off the walls, and you need someone who's going to bounce like her. And she's been paired up with this guy, and he's absolutely lovely, bless him. Short but really sweet. And he said his ex-girlfriend, he lives in a caravan in the middle of the forest, his ex-girlfriend used to make him sit in the car for 3 hours so she could get some peace because he was too much.
Oh no.
I'm like, what kind of relationship is that where you'd sit outside in the car for 3 hours? He was a pleaser. She was obviously taking the peanuts. She really was. Christina and Kieran, yes.
The peanuts.
Holly and Alex. First Lady's got all the names going on. She has been watching this program. But you know what really annoys me in this program? What's annoying is that every single woman in there's got her lips done. Every single one of them. Bar, yeah, every single one. Bar the, is it Christina and Kieran, or Holly? Christina and Kieran. She's the only one that hasn't had her lips done. Every single woman in there has had their lips inflated to a point where it just doesn't look right anymore. I don't know what's going on. Who says it looks right?
Do they look like fishes? Do they look like fishes?
They haven't got the natural shape that what we've got. They really haven't. Tattooed up. Tattooed up and lips. That's all it is. Lips and tattoos. No. It's really bad, but it's hard. It's really hard. I feel sorry for one woman. Some guy turned around and said, "How do you rate your wife? 1 to 10. 1 being not good, 10 being the best. 4."
Gosh, that's not very encouraging for a new marriage, is it? You can see that one is definitely not going to last.
Yeah, one guy was at the stand and goes, "God, you're going to tell me I look beautiful," and he just stood there in silence.
Oh dear.
Oh my God. It's just, I just think how to kill your ego in one go is go on that show. That show will absolutely rip your ego to pieces. It really does. And the best part is now that 3 different people have turned up in there. And one of them's this, their epitome of a beautiful woman. And all the guys' eyes are going big, tongues dropping down. One girl is so insecure, she's saying to a guy, she's saying to her friends, "Oh, please don't make her brunette because he's going to fancy her and I don't know what I'm going to do. And I hope she's not..." And I'm thinking, have some faith in yourself, woman, or let him go.
I mean, you know, in these kind of things, obviously you've got the initial looks because that's what a lot of people will go for. They'll go for somebody that looks in a particular way. And then as the show most probably goes on and they start to get to know each other and they start to get to know each other's personalities, then they might think, "Oh dear, I'm with the wrong person."
Pretty
maybe
looks
they should do a wife. They should do married at first sight, wife swap, right? And see who gets on with who. And you know, maybe something might work there.
Yep. Kimmy Kim says Alex don't want. He just come on there for mix up and to show his muscle. They're all tanked up. All the girls have got lips. All the guys are all muscled. It reminds me of Love Island. It's really changed. Yeah. It's really changed. Have some normal, ordinary people on there. I mean, you'd get anxiety issues just from looking at other people, thinking, look how they're looking. You know, whether it's their makeup, whether it's their beauty, hair, all sorts. I mean, God, the last woman that came in, I mean, she was a beautiful lady. The guy she's paired up with looks like Adonis. She looks like, you know, straight out of the lads' mags. You know, breasts, lips, hair, prettiness, height, weight. I mean, she's got it all, and she's like an insecure woman's nightmare. If you're insecure and that woman comes walking in, suddenly you're just like, and all the girls just went all nervous and clinging on to their men like, "Oh, there's a new woman in there, let's cling on." Like, that's not going to save you. It's holding on to him even tighter. If he's going, he's going.
Yeah, if right? He's going, then just tell him to go, innit? Just tell him, go on. But you know, that's how it goes, isn't it? But you know, I definitely got to watch this show. Anybody else that, like me, hasn't seen this particular Married at First Sight?
Oh, you got to watch it. Even my son's got into it. It's into it now. It's brilliant. Yeah. Sorry about that. I forgot I removed myself on screen and didn't put myself back on because I just went to go and get a cup of tea. But no, I am here. Glad to see that people are taking tips from the show. Please watch Married at First Sight. That's enough of a roundup for you. I don't want to give away too much. But obviously the series was in September, so the whole series you can binge watch back to back on all four, if you want to watch it on the app. But it's a fun show. Don't take it too seriously, but it's a mirror into watching about marriage guidance and marriage issues. But another film that I watched, I'm a big Tom Hanks fan. Don't ask me why. I love him. I really do. I love all the films that he does, especially Life is Like a Box of Chocolates. Forrest Gump. That's it.
Forrest Gump. Life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're
gonna get. Loved Forrest Gump. So I'm a big Tom Hanks fan. So he's got a new film out called Otto. And it's based around a man that lives in a neighbourhood. He's a grumpy old man. He's a grumpy old man for a reason. And a couple moves in and he has...
Sounds like me.
And a couple move in across the road with the family and absolutely change his heart. And it's a pretty much a big tearjerker. I was bawling my eyes out on Saturday watching this film, honestly. So if you do like tearjerkers, watch Otto. Please do. He tries to kill himself a fair few times after his wife died 6 months ago. And for some strange reason, every time he tries to do it, this couple intervene. They don't know he's trying to do it. They intervene and stop him. And yeah, I don't want to give away the story. It's a great film. Really, 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 really good film. It's given me a feel-good factor, that
What's
one.
it
I love
called?
watching Otto. O-T-T-O.
Okay.
Otto.
Oh, yes, I've seen that one advertised, yeah.
Yes, a very good film. So please watch that on Netflix. But if you do want to watch some really good tearjerkers, Clint Eastwood's your man. Funny enough, he used to be a favourite spaghetti westerner, but since he turned producer, he has brought out some absolutely fantastic movies. $1 Million Baby. Now that movie's old now, but if you haven't seen $1 Million Baby, you have got to see. If that movie don't make you cry, I don't know what will. Then you've got a hard heart. That's all I can say. A hard heart. But $1 Million Baby, Gran Torino as well is an excellent movie, and The Mule. All three of Clint Eastwood's films that I've watched have been excellent movies. Can't wait to watch them again, actually. I think I might watch Gran Torino again. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant movie. All of them.
Sounds good, sounds good. Definitely need to get ourselves into some of these movies that you're talking about.
Yeah, so what I want to do is come on to something a bit more serious, and we can talk about this afterwards, after we play a track or something as well. But we didn't get to speak about this last week. Now, Chris Cabba dominated the news last week for all sorts of reasons. He was shot dead by a police marksman.
Mm-hmm.
The police officer was taken to court. It's been a couple of years, and finally the verdict, he got off the case.
Mm-hmm.
And now word is going around. And then what happened, as soon as he got off the case, then we found out that Chris Cabba was a notorious gang member who had been, his car was a suspect in a drive-by murder, hence the reason why they were tracking the car in the first place. Or it'd been linked to a shooting, I should say. And that's why, and the car came up. Chris Cabba happened to be driving it. Police surrounded the car and shot at it. I think he was trying to ram the cars. I haven't got the news articles in front of me, so forgive me if I'm wrong. But there's a noise being made around why this police officer had to go to court in the first place. Police officers shouldn't be going to court for situations like this. They've painted Chris Cabba as this notorious gangster who deserved to die. So it wasn't like we've shot him, we're sorry. It's just like, well, it's almost like we've taken another member off the street, so we should all be grateful. And in a sense, maybe if he is a notorious gang member and he has killed people, maybe in a sense there's a what do they call it now? Justification, maybe. I don't think there's any justification for killing anybody. No. In all honesty, but they seem to have some kind of justification in that, and you know, the press has all come out and gone wholly and solely against him, painting him as a really bad character. Therefore, it's okay. In the light, in light of the police officer getting off, they've then posted all this bad news against Chris Cabba just to make sure that we don't rise too much. And if we did, then we'd have people on the other side saying, "Well, this is what he did, so he deserves to die. So shut your mouth and sit down and be as obedient as you normally are." Now, what really worries me is the fact that, and this happens in America as well, is the shoot to kill policy. Now, if he's driving a car and it's dangerous, and he's saying the police officer doesn't know if his life is in danger or not, and he could have rammed at the cars and killed an officer, why not shoot the tyres out? If they really wanted to stop him, why did they not shoot the tyres out? Because then he couldn't move.
I watched a few things on this guy, and obviously, I was in the thing with the police as well. They need to be arrested, and I still think that an investigation needs to take place. Now, from what I understand, that this particular car that he was driving was involved in 2 shootings. I'm not sure about the second one, but I know one was involved with, he was went in a club. I actually saw the video of him going into the club. They chased him into the club. He was in the club and he shot at a guy inside the club, and obviously they pinpointed the videos of him running out the club and chasing the guy down the road, shooting this particular individual, and I think that was fatal there. Then he got in his car eventually and drove away, so they knew of him. Now, when the police were chasing him, they did try to stop him in many ways, and when they blocked him in, he took his car and actually rammed the police vehicle, and eventually he stopped. Now, I'm not sure what happened after that, but I do believe from what in the court case, he had his hands on the steering wheel, apparently. That's what, and he was giving it up, and the police officers obviously ran up to the car, smashed out the windows, and this particular police officer went up and then shot him, I do believe, in the head.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. Now, they said they were worried for his life. There was no proof of him going for anything. I think he had his hands on the steering wheel. So at that point, obviously, put your hands in and drag him out. But it looks like this police got a bit excited and shot him. So the justification, I think, for the police, they're going to use that he actually murdered someone. And obviously, they do understand that this police officer had, done what he did to, obviously, it was fair for his colleagues. Now, I mean, I don't know what to make of that, because it's like half a dozen of one, 6 of the other. I just don't know, because he was a dangerous individual. He was an extremely dangerous individual. He had a criminal record going back from when he was a youth, and obviously was known to the police. So whether there was an underlying policy there of, this police officer is going to be taken out because this guy is a hardened criminal, I don't know. Some people will say, yes, he deserved what he got, because, you don't put yourself in that kind of position. And he was extremely dangerous. And he was extremely dangerous to our people and to our youngsters. So what do you make of it?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, what I don't like is when his family would come out. Tell the truth about your child. All right, I know you want justice, but tell the truth about your children. Don't come to court and say that he was a lovely man, right? And he didn't do anything wrong, and he held down a job. He didn't do any of that stuff. Tell the truth about your child.
He was a hardened criminal. Exactly,
and tell the truth, and let the truth prevail at the end of the day. Now, no one's saying that this police officer was right. I don't believe any police officer should be picking up a gun and shooting anybody unless there's a gun being pointed at them. So, and I think it doesn't set a great precedence for officers to be able to just shoot with intent. I don't understand this shooting with intent to kill. Why not shoot to maim? Bring someone down so that then you can handle them and bring them into custody. But they wanted him dead. They absolutely executed him. The same as the other guy that caused the riots. I can't remember what his name was, when they shot him in the back of a black taxi that caused all the riots around the country many years ago. Mark Duggan. Yeah, they executed Mark Duggan as much as they executed Chris Cabba. Now, my whole entire issue is what they're trying to bring in. The government are saying, no, the police commissioner is saying this police officer should have never been on trial for doing his job, right? And he's got a 10,000 bounty on his head. His family are in fear. He's in fear of his life. So is the person the person at the other end of your barrel should always be in fear of your life. If you're too trigger happy, everybody else is going to be in fear. I'm telling you, it's your job to keep the land lawful, okay, and to arrest individuals, not to kill them. I didn't know that was a police officer's job. Now, is it in their job description that
trained to kill? That
you are going to be trained to kill?
Yeah,
and also, is that they're marksmen.
Mm-hmm.
Are they normal police officers, or were they marksmen? I'm trying to understand which ones.
They're trained marksmen. Yeah. And
Okay.
the policy that they want to bring in, that the government want to bring in, is that.
I was just getting to that.
Oh, sorry. Go on.
It's all right.
Yes.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
You can
it's
announce
all right,
it.
fine. No, that's your job. That's not mine.
No. Don't be
Go
silly. The news is between the both of us. But I was just coming up to the fact that the government now, in light of what's happened to this, I think it's Martin Blake was the police officer's name. In light of all of that, they want to bring in special anonymity to police officers if they've been involved in something such as this. It reminds me of the super injunctions, because we got another TV star in the papers, haven't we? Who's been a naughty boy.
Oh, I'm not sure about that one.
Yeah, I'll talk about that in a second, maybe when we come back after a track and after the break. But yes, that's what the government wants to bring in, is an anonymity to police officers if they have shot at a victim. Rather than the papers naming and shaming them, they will not be no longer named, because they want to protect their officers. What about protecting us?
While they're being charged, they are anonymous. So while they go through the court cases, their name will remain anonymous. But if they are found guilty, then they will now their names will now be revealed. So up until the point of them being charged and actually found guilty, that's when we will know who the police officer was. But if they're found not guilty, we will not know who the police officer was. So yeah, that's what.
And how often are police officers found guilty?
I'm not sure. I haven't been checking out the stats on that.
Not very often.
Yeah.
Not very often. Look at all these people that have died in custody. Nah, come on.
Yeah.
Smiley Culture, remember him?
Yes. Our one and only Smiley Culture police officer. Remember? HPQ.
Oh, sorry, I was just looking at work
You was
email.
gazing, wasn't you? You was gazing.
I was.
Proper gazing.
Last week, I went to see The Amazing Front Room by Tony Fairweather. Now, I've been tracking him for a number of years now, where he's done exhibitions where he's recreated the front room of the 50s, 60s. And, you know, it's almost like going down memory lane, where you're going to these front rooms that he's set up. He's also got the bedroom and the kitchen as well. He's done lots of exhibitions as also at the V&A. I think he's exhibited. He does lots of pop-ups, and I've never been. He's been at the Fairfield Halls, and so there was a chance something popped up in a group, and I saw that he was in Birmingham. I was coming home from work and I thought, let me just go across and see him. So surprised him and went to see him. And it's almost like it is taking a trip down memory lane. Although I could walk into your mum's front room and take a trip down memory lane. Your mum's front room is exactly the same. There's a couple of mum's front rooms that are exactly the same. And it's absolutely brilliant. Now, he was given a talk on it, talking about the origins of some of the items and why we had some of the items in the house. Like he spoke about the 3 flying ducks on the wall in some black people's houses. Now that came from Coronation Street. When black people started watching Coronation Street, Hilda Ogden had them on the wall.
Oh, wow.
They're called the Ogden ducks. Yeah, she started off the phrase and then black people just picked up on it and we had these flying ducks. And it's like the fish. Remember, we used to have all the fish on there as well?
The fish on the
fish
cabinet.
Yeah, the fish was a sign that you were Christian. It was a Christian household, and it just kind of took off. And then it obviously got replaced by different other ornaments and bits and pieces. And the brightness of, I think when they used to have you used to wonder why they used to have the pretend fruit on the table. Most black people's houses had that, didn't they? The fake fruit. I don't know what that was about.
Yeah.
Well, they couldn't afford fresh fruit when they used to come in the old days. And it wasn't the same as the fruit as what they got from the Caribbean. So this was replicating the colour and the essence of where they had actually come from. And he says some of these artifacts, you know, some of these figurines, these ornate figurines that you see, you know, the white ballet dancers or whatever it was that we used to have, that used to full of abundance on the shelves. Well, apparently they are now not just memorabilia, but they're worth some money. And some of these items were fetching, for some are fetching over thousands of pounds for some of these figurines. Wow. So make sure your parents don't. You see, when you're cleaning out your parents' house and they've got all these figurines, they are actually going for something on eBay. They are actually worth money now. So people, all your parents' front rooms, don't dash them away. Keep them. Keep them all. They are going to be worth a pretty mint in a few more years to come. They are worth money at the moment. The fruit ice buckets. Remember the fruit ice buckets? You get big pineapple. Apparently, they're worth over £400 now. They are nostalgic and retro. So if your parents have got any of these items in the loft, still on the shelf, keep them. Keep them.
Yeah. A few weeks ago, when I was in Jamaica, I posted a video of my uncle, his front room, and him playing his old gram. He was still playing his gram. You remember the old wooden gram?
Yeah.
And he was dancing, 95 years old. And honestly, go to my uncle's house. He's got them all. He when he went back to Jamaica, he took everything with him. He's still even got the old chairs that, and it's like going back in time. But it's really nice that you just see the naturalness, and even the old records, some of the old records that he really, from the 50s, and he was playing it on his gram, dancing away. If you go on my Facebook, you will see it.
No, honestly, it's
some of those things are worth a pretty penny.
They are. My mum took all of hers back to Jamaica with her, and as the years went on, one by one, they went missing. There's some light hands in Jamaica, I'm telling you. One by one, my mum's figurines have disappeared. And my mum used to have a lot. She had a shelf full of them. My mum was like one of these front rooms, where everybody's mum was. The front room you couldn't go into unless it was a special occasion. You could only go in there to clean. And woe betide if you broke anything in there.
Yeah. Many
woe
years
betide.
ago, an ex-girlfriend of mine, last one before, she's right. Her auntie passed away, and her auntie had two of absolute everything, and the whole front room, I'm not lying, you walk in, you couldn't sit anywhere. They had these figurines absolutely everywhere. She had everything. She had collected everything. And when she passed away, I don't know what's happened, but I know there was like a bit of a family feud in regards to who was going to get those figurines, not knowing what they're worth. But I reckon they're worth pretty much a pretty penny, because they were immaculate. She cleaned them all. So it'd be very interesting to find out what actually happened.
It was really interesting. Because the fish was replaced by the Last Supper picture. Remember that?
Yeah.
Jesus. Everybody had that in their house.
Yeah.
Everybody had one of those. And also the photographer, the old-time pictures, Harry Jacobs, who set up in Brixton, which every black person eventually went to. And people used to hire suits from there and send the pictures back home to make it look like they're doing well and they've got money. So you could hire a suit from in there. And there's several pictures where you see the person in the same suit because you pay a couple shillings, you put in your suit, you take the picture, and then you send it back home to Jamaica to say, this is how I'm doing. It was so nostalgic sitting there listening to these stories. And so everybody, keep those ornaments. So my next crafting project is actually replicating the front room, the kitchen and the bedroom.
Oh, that'll be very interesting indeed. Definitely be interesting.
Yeah. Last night I was actually trying to recreate a Calagas heater from memory. It's there.
Gosh.
So it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting.
So it's a great thing talking about this past
nostalgia
life that we are.
See, the funny thing is that a lot of the items I'm going to have to recreate from scratch. You just cannot get them or buy them. Little things like the tiny little plates and ornaments I can purchase, but things like paraffin heating, Calagas heaters, the ornaments, the type of tables, the surfing trolleys and things like that, I have to make from scratch. So it's going to be really interesting to do. SharkyDJ will be back in a hot minute. But one of the other things I wanted to talk about from the old days is some of the rituals and practices we used to do, such as Dettol baths. I was reading about some woman, and she was on Facebook, and she was just about to go and have a Dettol bath and pouring that in. Do people still have Dettol baths? I can't do Dettol baths. This is probably the reasons why. In my younger childhood, my mum forced us to have Dettol baths all the time. It cleans you, and it is. It's a very mild antiseptic which you can use in a bath. It's great. But for women that have women problems, perfumes, cheap shower gel and Dettol is not the one, or Lush products. You know, there's little soap bombs full of perfumes and sparkly products and all sorts of things. That's a no-go for people like me. Absolutely not. Cannot use that nowhere near my skin. And I urge you to think about partners you have. Don't let them use all those products on your skin and come near you, because you will break out, you know. Can't use those products at all. Now, First Lady says, what about the ornament of the giraffe bobbing up and down with what looked like Ribena at the end of it? Yeah, he sent me a load of pictures yesterday. I was looking through some of them, and it took me back in time. And some of the records, just everything. First Lady says she can't do without Dettol. Well, lucky for you, I can't use that product, I'm afraid. Unfortunately, I'm very, very, very allergic to products like that and any kind of perfume, soaps and things like that. I can't have baths with all these luxury smells coming out of it. It will just send me absolutely crazy. So, yes, it's what I used to use when I was younger, but can no longer use it in my older self. Now, one of the other things I wanted to talk about was, since we're going back in the day, is this Windrush report that was suppressed that has now come out. Now, the Home Office was forced to publish this critical report on the origins of the Windrush actual scandal. And for the past 3 years, the Home Office staff have worked to bury this research paper that states the roots of the scandal lay in 30 years of racist immigration legislation designed to reduce the UK's non-white population. Now, this 52-page analysis by the Home Office was commissioned by someone who's not named, described how the British Empire depended on racist ideology in order to function, and explained how this ideology had driven immigration laws passed in post-war period. Now, this department rejected several Freedom of Information requests asking for the historical roots of the Windrush scandal to be released, and they argued that the publication might damage affecting communities and the trust in the government and its future development of the immigration policy. Of course we don't trust you. You've just torn our families apart. The officials also argued that the disclosure would also impair free and frank disclosure of advice to the Home Office and threaten the existence of a safe space within the department to discuss immigration policy. What do you mean, a safe space to discuss immigration policy? Depends who it's affecting, right? And what you're doing. I cannot believe it. Now, this report, which was leaked to The Guardian in May 2022, concluded that the origins of this deep-rooted racism of the Windrush scandal actually lie, in fact, during the period of 1950 to 1981, where every single piece of immigration or citizenship legislation was designed, at least in part, to reduce the number of people with black or brown skin who were permitted to live in the UK. So it's telling you now, this Windrush scandal is not something that's just come up because they decided to destroy the landing cards by accident. They destroyed those landing cards on purpose and made it very, very difficult. As you can see, this report actually stated that. I urge you to read the report. It's actually online. Let me see if I can get a copy of the report. I'm actually going through it. I'm going to go through it on the flight.
Send
take
that
a
link
good
into the chat room there.
We'll take a good read of it. But there is a definitive report on it, and urge you guys to read it. Now, I'm out of breath. Let's play a track.
Voice. Absolutely. A wonderful voice. Unmute.
That's a lovely voice. And, you know, it's because I was slurping my tea. I don't want everyone to hear me slurping it, so I put myself on mute sometimes. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to have to leave shortly. So this will probably be my last bit of chat until we move on to tomorrow. I've got lots of news for tomorrow. We didn't get through half of it because we were talking about Married at First Sight. That kind of just like dominated the news this morning. It really did.
It certainly did, didn't it?
It did. But you know, and I've forgotten my page where it is. I was just talking about the Home Office scandal again, about this paper that they tried to bury and suppress, and that's coming out. I have put the links in the chat. I urge you guys to try and read the report. But I just wish that we would come up and do something. I'm tired of us hearing about this and saying, oh God, it's a travesty, and that's it. That's all that happens. I want us to come together a little bit more and say, you know, we should be suing the government over this. Why are we not suing the government? Why we ain't get? We need some of those P Diddy lawyers over here representing us.
Gosh. Yeah.
If we had a couple of those lawyers representing us for the Windrush
Good
scandal,
lawyers,
honestly,
yeah.
the government will be going to jail for a long time. You'd have sent the
yeah.
government to jail, no doubt. Probably would have got them in there. And I'm telling you, it's and I started reading the report, and I thought, let me read it another time when I'm in the mood to read it, because it's a bit depressing. It really is. But we'll leave that one at that, and I urge you guys to read it. It is Black History Month. Please do. Like I said, we still got the charity going there. I'm trying to get my fingers right. I can't get it right up on the screen. I did get it earlier on. It's that way. It's this way. This way. This way. That's it. I got it.
There, look,
So we're trying to raise. We're trying to raise. Still doing it wrong. Trying to raise 2,500. We've raised 2,500, and we're trying to get to the total of £3,000. This is what happens when your screens are all back to front.
Check your account. Has anyone donated this morning yet?
That's a good point. Let's have a look. I don't see. It's not flashing up.
No, not yet. Okay.
No.
Trying to persuade them. Bend arms. Donate. I know a lot of people have donated already. Donate more.
We know that the government is trying to tax their hell out of us, but £10.
They'll soon start taxing the charities.
They can't do that. That's the reason why they're.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me really. It wouldn't surprise me at all whatsoever.
Well, I know, but it's time for HPQ to go. But before I go, Spice Nice says she will read, and she said that just shows the government never wanted us here in the first place, just fix up the country and chuck us out. No, they didn't. They didn't realise the impact, and so many black people would come in, and then they decided they didn't want us here and pass these ridiculous immigration laws that made it difficult for us, and saying that they didn't. And that the Windrush scandal isn't there. And where's our compensation still? We're still trying to get money out of them. Postmaster scandal, I'm seeing 100,000, 60,000. Where's all this money coming from? Why aren't we getting these chunks of money?
Just changing up just a little bit, talking about they hate us, right? Yesterday, I haven't read up on it just yet, so maybe you can enlighten me. Wasn't there a demonstration with Tommy Robinson or something like that? I saw some videos going around with a demonstration of some old people, protesting or something.
In all honesty, I don't take any notice of Tommy Robinson. I really don't.
But there's a big demonstration somewhere. I think, was it in London or something? I haven't. I just saw. Was it yesterday, or the day before, or Friday or something?
Yeah,
I saw some demonstration going on. What was that about?
I don't know. And then he got arrested. I don't follow him. I think he's just nonsense. If the guy spewed out information that was correct, and if he could articulate himself a little bit better, then I would honestly sit down and listen to him. But I don't have any desire whatsoever to look upon the proceedings of Tommy Robinson.
I don't promote them, but you know what? For me, it's like when you got people like this, it's interesting just to watch what their thoughts are like. The thugs that go around and follow them as well. Sometimes I've listened to him and he sounds like he's making a little bit of sense sometimes. Right? Then you listen to him another time and it's like you're contradicting what you're saying. What is it? You either like or you don't like. What is it that you're actually out for? Because I don't know. I do get his argument in one sense. Okay, I don't get how we're asylum seekers should be coming to the country for a reason, seeking asylum. Yeah. But we're allowing every boat, every ship, every car, every person in here, and we are full to the brim. And we're paying for asylum seekers to stay in hotels and bed and breakfasts at a monthly cost. And it's just costing the country so much more money, and it's so much more pressure on the services that we have. Housing. If we just talk about housing for a second, in our days, we could just leave our parents' house, say that we've been kicked out, and get a flat. Now, you have to have something wrong with you, half a leg, no head, right, no family, before you can even be considered to get any kind of accommodation or any help. I feel sorry for the generation of people coming up, because if a parent chucks their children out and they're over the age of 18, you are technically homeless. That's it. There is no council help for you. None. But you know what? For me, I just call it karma, right? Chicken coming home to roast, right? Because to roost. right? Not Roos, right? Because the British Empire, when you talk about the British Empire, we're in everybody's country, teeth in this, teeth in that, taking this out of their country, taking all their wealth out and bringing it back and making Great Britain rich, right? And these people now are coming to say, you got our wealth, we want some of it back.
I believe in reparation payments. I certainly do. I'm all up
it.
for that. I'm all up for that. But do you know what? It might not be in our lifetime, but it will happen. It will happen. But you can't go and rape and pillage a country for all these years, keep all their diamonds and all their big jewels, and say it belongs to the palace.
It belongs to
when
the
you
palace
didn't do
on the top of the Queen's head. Give
yeah,
them back their jewelry.
And you've done nothing from for the country apart from go and visit there and wave your hands around now and again. No, do something. Work for the Jules royal family. Work for them, like what we have to do. Listen, don't even get me started in the establishment.
I know you've
and
got
and everything.
a meeting at 9:30, so I'm going to kick you out before you get on, and you're late for your meeting, and I don't want to.
Oh, and I'm so going to get told off. I've seen the email already. I'm going to get told off. But you know what? I don't care. I'm going away on Thursday.
Oh, dear. Ghana, here we come. Listen, you have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.
See you tomorrow, everyone.